Morning, children. I welcome you all once again for this online class. And today we are continuing with our part 2 of lesson 2 of geography. And the title of our lesson is landforms. And in the last class, part 1, we studied about the agents that were responsible for the changes made in the surface of our earth, and more specifically we studied about the first agent that brings changes in our earth's surface, that is by water, isn't it? So in today's class we continue with the other three important agents that makes changes in our earth's surface, and they are glacier, wind, and coast. Okay, glaciers, wind, and coast. Okay, so now let's move on to the first part, glaciers. So what are glaciers? They are a large body of ice moving slowly down a slope or valley due to gravity. It is called glacier. So it is a body of ice and it moves slowly. Okay, uh, so a body of ice that moves slowly because of gravity. It is called a glacier. Okay, in Tamil we can name them like Paniyaarugal. Okay, so there are two types of glaciers. Okay, one we call mountain or valley glaciers, and other one we can call them continental glaciers. Okay, so two types of glaciers. So what are continental glaciers? Look at the first picture at the display. Okay, so the glacier covering vast areas of continent with thick ice sheet. So the picture shows the thick ice sheet, isn't it? So these type of glaciers are called continental glaciers. It covers a vast area of a continent with thick ice sheet. Okay, example Antarctica. Even if you go to the polar region also, you can name them continental glaciers. Okay, so what are the second type of glaciers? They are the mountain or valley glaciers. So what are they? They are the stream of ice flowing along a valley. So first continental glacier, they do not move. It forms a thick ice sheet, isn't it? And they make a large continent. But the second type, it moves from one side to another. Okay, it move along the from the mountain top. It slowly moves into the valley. Okay, because of the gravity, from top to bottom, slowly it moves. Look at the picture in the bottom. So that is the stream of glacier which moves slowly, isn't it? And it always follows a river path. Okay. Example is the Himalayan and Alps mountain ranges. So the Himalayan range, if you go there, you could see this type of glaciers. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let's move on to the next topic. The next topic is what is cirque and how they are formed. So uh, when the glacier it moves from the mountain towards the valley, uh, it makes the landscape into a um, it erode. Okay, it erodes the landscape on the way. So when it moves on its way, it erodes the rock part of the mountain, like the display in the picture. Okay, so here when you look at the picture here, you could see the rock in brown color and the ice sheet in the gray color, light gray color. So what happens when the glacier, uh, when it is located at the uh, when it slowly moves from the mountain top into the lower region, it deposits at the bottom and slowly it erodes the rock at the bottom and it forms like a chair, uh, that is a armchair typed depression. Okay, like the picture. See, this picture is resembling like a armchair, like the seat which we sit, it looks like a depression, isn't it? So this type of shaped depression we call it cirque. Okay, cirque. How they are formed? They are formed by the ice sheet. Okay, moving ice sheet from the mountain top, and it makes a depression. So example, um, Kori is a cirque formed by the glacier in a country named Scotland, which is in UK, and also Kar in Germany. These are the two examples of cirque formed by the glaciers. Okay, now let's study what are Tarn lakes. So when the moving glacier, it deposits, okay, it stays at a particular place, and when the ice melts and becomes water, it forms a small lakes. Those lakes are called Tarn lakes. Okay, so in the cirque we saw it is a armchair like the depression, but they have only ice on the surface of the cirque. But when the ice in the cirque, when it melts down and becomes water, it forms a small lake called Tarn Lake. Now we study what are eretus. Okay, eretus. So when two cirques, okay, when they erode towards each other, it forms eretus. When two nearby cirques, okay, nearby cirques, when they erode each other, they form a narrow rocky steep. They form a narrow rocky steep. Look at the second picture. Okay, so there are two, this side, front side one cirque and back side another cirque. So what happened when two cirques slowly eroded? It forms the rock into steep, narrow, steep landscape, which is called eretus. And moraines. Okay, and the next topic is what are glacial moraines. So when the U-shaped valley that is formed by the glaciers, which are deepened and widened by the erosion, the materials carried by the glaciers, rocks and small big rocks, okay, and the other deposits, they form glacial moraine. Okay, so small rocks, they were moved, they were pushed down. Small rocks and small dust pieces, they were pushed down to form a moraine. Look at the white deposit in the picture. They are called moraines. Okay, now let's move on to the next topic, the changes made by the wind. Okay, the changes made on the surface of the earth by wind. Okay, so what is wind? Wind is an active agent of erosion and deposition in the desert. Okay, so it is an active agent, that is, it never stops, it always brings changes. Okay, and it brings two types of changes. One is erosion and another one is deposition. Erosion means what? Slowly breaking something into small pieces, even destroying them. T position means carrying something from one place to and depositing it in another place. So these are the two important continuous work done by the wind. Okay. So in desert area, you could see these types of rocks in the deserts, and the mushroom shaped rocks you have you see in the picture. Okay, so how these mushroom shaped rocks are formed? Because in the deserts, the winds, okay, winds, they erode the lower part of the rock more than the upper part of the rock. So the wind always attacks the lower part more than the upper part. So the lower part of the rock is very faster eroded comparing with the upper part. Because of this reason only we could see this type of mushroom rock shaped uh, rocks in the deserts. Okay, and another changes brought by the winds are inselbergs. So what are inselbergs? It is an isolated residual hill. Residual means leftover. So this is a hill which is slowly eroded and it forms a isolated single structure because of erosion, and this is the only leftover which was slowly destroyed by the wind. So it is like a small pillar standing with rounded tops. Okay, so these changes are made by the continuous flow of wind in the desert. So example for Inselberg is Kalahari Desert in South Africa. So when you go to South Africa and when you move around the Kalahari Desert, you could see these type of Inselbergs. And the next one is sand dunes. Okay, uh, sand dunes. So when the wind blows, it lifts and transports sand from one place to another. So look at the picture here at the bottom. So these are the sands, and when wind blows, the sand, uh, because of its lighter weight, it is lifted and transported from one place to another place. And when the wind stops blowing, the sand will um, stay at a place and deposited in another place, isn't it? When the wind stops blowing, the sand will be deposited in another place. So these type of deposited sand are called sand dunes. Okay, they are called sand dunes. And the crescent shaped sand dunes are called barchans. Okay, crescent means half moon shaped. Okay, when you look at the moon during the final stage, it looks like a crescent, that is half moon, quarter moon, not even half, quarter moon shape, that is called crescent shape. Look at the dark spot in the picture, it looks like a quarter shaped moon. Okay, so these type of crescent shaped dunes are called barchans. Okay, so when the grain of sand are very fine and light, okay, when they are very much powder like um, condition, okay, so these type of wind, this type of sand can be carried for a very long distance because of its light weight. So the when the sand travels to a very large distance and deposited in large areas, they are called loess. Okay, so when the sand are moved to nearby place, we call them sand dunes. But when they are moved to a larger distance, we call it loess. Okay, so these type of loesses are found in the China, in China, and these loesses are brought to China from the Gobi Desert, which is far away. Okay, now that we move on to the next section, changes made by the coast. Okay, coast. So, what is a coast? Sea coast. It is a part of the land adjoining or near the sea is called sea coast. Okay, so the nearest part of land is called coast. That is nearest part to the sea water. It is called coast. And the boundary of coast where the land meets with the sea water is called coastline. Okay, and the coastal areas are subject to changes due to the waves, erosion, and deposition. So, because of the sea waves changes, it forms wave erosion and wave deposition. So, look at the picture here. So, this type of land formation is called sea cliffs. Okay, sea cliffs. So, the sea cliffs are steep rocks. Steep means what? It is somewhat in a higher level. Okay, it is somewhat higher. Okay, so steep rocks faces formed when the sea waves dash against the coastal landforms. So these types of sea cliffs are formed by the sea waves continuously dashing on the landform. So the next topic is uh, sea caves. Okay, so what are sea caves? We saw sea cliffs, isn't it? So upon the sea cliffs, when the sea waves continuously dash, okay, it forms a small cavity. Okay, it forms a small cavity, and slowly the small cavity cracks into a deeper one, and finally it forms a cave. So they are called sea caves. And then furthermore, the sea caves, when they are continuously eroded by the sea waves, it forms arch like roof. Left side of the picture. See, the caves, sea caves are more eroded. Okay, further eroded, and it forms a arch like appearance. So they are called sea arches. Okay, and furthermore, even the sea arches are slowly eroded, and finally looks like a single wall, and they are called stacks, which is at the right side of the picture. Okay, then we move on to the beaches. What are beaches? So the sea waves, the waves of the sea, they deposit the sediments, the leftovers of sand at the shore, at the border, at the edge of the sea water, which is called as beaches. Okay, uh, and the larger form of beaches are called sandbars. Okay, when the beaches are elongated, when they are more, we can call them sea sandbars. Okay, in Tamil we call them manal tittugal. So whenever you go to some of the islands, Pacific Ocean, there are, when you move into the Pacific Ocean through ship or any boat, you could see the large number of sandbars in the middle of the ocean, and these sandbars are created by the waves of the sea pushing down the residual sand and gravel at the middle of the ocean. So they are called sandbars and beaches. Okay, so the Miami beach in Florida, is the longest beach in the whole world, and next to the Miami beach, Marina Beach is the second longest beach in the whole world. Okay, so we are now in the final topic, that is lagoons. So, what are lagoons? Lagoons are a shallow stretch of water partially or completely separated from the sea. So, look at the picture here. At the left side, we have a huge sea. At the right side, we have a small pool like water sediment, isn't it? So they are called lagoons. Okay, so it is shallow stretch of water. Shallow means what? Not so deep. Okay, and how they are formed? They are formed by the sea water. When the sea water separated from the sea partially or completely, they become lagoon. Okay, example are Chilka Lake in Odisha, Pulicat Lake in Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh border, and Venbanad Lake in Kerala. These are the some of the prominent lagoons in India. Okay, children, with this, our lesson 2 of geography is completed. We'll meet in the next class. See you all.